A new powerful tool called AI Task was introduced in the latest Home Assistant, which allows you to use AI of your choice in your automations and scripts very easily and effectively. I made 3 different Home Assistant automations to show you how the AI Task feature works. I sort them from the easiest to hardest. The first ones are simple and quick, while the last ones are more advanced but also way more useful and interesting. I will be using Google Gemini AI in this video, as it is free of charge and very capable and supports structured output that is needed in some of the automations that I'm about to show. If you want to add Google Gemini AI as well, check this video where I'm showing all the steps. Of course, you can use other AI integrations as well, like ChatGPT, Cloud, or even local LLMs if you wish. With that being said, let's get our hands dirty, because I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about much better once you see it. So I rated Automation 1 as very easy, and it is using AI Task feature to generate an impressive welcome home message. Let me show you. This is my test Home Assistant environment, and I'll go to the automation section of Home Assistant, and this is the first automation that I want to show you, and it is having this trigger which is trivial, and of course it can be anything, but for this demo, when person Kirill becomes home, then execute these 2 or 3 actions. This one is disabled, but you can easily enable it if you wish. The first action is the most interesting one, and it is the new AI Task generate data action. This is how it is looking like. Very simple, very useful. This is the action, generate data, AI Task, and below that are the parameters that I'm using in this automation. We need to add a task name. This can be anything. I named this welcome message, and we have here some instructions. These are important. Look at here. Generate a short friendly welcome home message for trigger to state attributes friendly name. This refers to this entity friendly name. And of course you can configure your own, or you can reuse that. Then generate a very short latest most interesting international soccer results summary and add a date. Let me zoom this out and add dates. Provide only one response and don't give options. These are the instructions that I want the AI to execute. Of course, this can be news, other sport events, or anything. Of course, also sensor data from your Home Assistant, as you'll see later. It is an open space for free text, and you can ask anything and type any instructions you wish here. Entity ID is empty because I set a default one in my settings. Let me show you that again. I'll open the settings in another tab of Home Assistant, then System, General, and right here you can see AI suggestions sections, and here I selected the Google AI Task. That means Google AI Task is my default AI, and Home Assistant will know that and will use it whenever nothing else is populated. If I have more than one AIs here, I may wish to select other AI instead of the default one, and in this case I should select Entity ID, and then I can select the AI I want. But because I only have one, and because I set this as a default, I'll just skip this and I'll go to the next fields. Structured output, we'll talk about this later in the other automations that are more complex and more useful. Attachments, same thing. We'll skip these things for now, but we'll use them in the other automations. And this is something important, response variable. This response from instructions here will be stored in this variable. The name of the variable can be anything. I name it AI underscore response, but that is not a must. And as a result from this action, the AI will execute my instructions and will store the result in this variable, which I'm going to show as a notification using this next action, which is creating a persistent notification. Persistent notifications are shown in Home Assistant in these notification sections once they are created. And as a message, I want the AI response. This is the variable where the AI will store the results from my instructions. AI response.data. This will be the message that I'm about to see. And let me demonstrate you that real quickly. Of course, you can add more actions like this disabled one. I disabled it because I'm not having a media player here with TTS support. So this action will not be executed, but you can easily enable it, or you can add your own enable here. And if you enable this, and if you have a media player added in Home Assistant with text-to-speech possibility, you can ask it to play the response from the AI also, not only to send it as a notification, but to play it from your speakers, which is useful. So I'll minimize that and I'll demo the automation. I'll go to developer tools, states, and I'll set person Kirill. Sorry, come on, switch the language. Person Kirill. Currently the state is unknown, and if I set that to home, because this was my trigger, if you remember, if person Kirill becomes home, so if I force it to home by these states, I should see the notifications right here. Here it is. I have one notification. Hey Kirill, welcome home. Here is a quick soccer update. Brazil 2, Argentina 1, friendly, Germany, England 2-2. These are real results coming from real matches, and I have that as a welcome message very easily and very fast using this AI task generate data new action that Home Assistant is now having. Of course, this is just an example and it can be easily changed or customized to anyone's need or preferences. Two more easy examples about garage door and TV can be found in the PDF that go with this video, and you can download it from the link in the video description. I rated the next automation as medium difficulty as it is more complex, but it can eventually save you from code. The automation checks the weather and uses the AI task feature to generate a notification with clothing suggestions based on the hourly data forecast. Let me demonstrate you that in details. This is the next automation that I'm about to show you, but before that I want to show you something else. This is the integration that I'm using for weather forecast currently. It is totally free. It is coming from met.no web service, and you can add it very easily by click on this add integration or by going to integration section of your Home Assistant, and there you can search for met.no web service, and this is available worldwide. It is used by a lot of Home Assistant users, as you can see, and it is a very good service. You have to set, of course, a home point here, and based on this home point in your Home Assistant you have a weather forecast coming from this institute in Norway, which is amazing. I like that service a lot. So first, in order to use this automation on your Home Assistant, add this integration and then get this YAML code and test it by yourself. So let's see the automation. This is how it is looking like. The trigger is when this input helper, button helper, change its state. I made this helper, let me show you, to start this, but of course the trigger can be anything, can be a time trigger. I'm going to use this in my prod environment daily from now on, because this automation is crazy useful, as you'll see in a few minutes, and I'll set it to execute, for example, at 8 a.m. on every workday. But that is up to you, and you can decide whatever you wish. For this demo, I created this helper. Where it is? This input button helper. You can create one by clicking on create helper button, and you can name your button whatever you wish, and you can even add an icon. And now on my overview section on my dashboard, I'm having this button. Once this button is pressed, this automation will be triggered because of this trigger. So this is my trigger for this demo. Again, you can use any trigger to trigger this automation, and the most interesting part of this automation are the actions. I have 4 of them, but the most important ones are the first 2. Actually, are the first 3. So let me show them to you. The first one is get forecast. This is using the Methanol web service, and actually it gets the forecast for your home location, and the forecast type will be hourly. It can be daily. Twice daily is not supported for this service, and the result will be stored in this response variable, which is named hourly forecast. So in this hourly forecast, I'll have the forecast, weather forecast for my location by hours. Next action defines a variable, a new variable named forecast list, and this forecast list basically breaks down in chunks the hourly forecast variable from the previous action. And you can just copy and paste this. You don't have to understand what actually it is doing in details, but it is just a template, Jinja template, that it is needed. And next we have the AI task generate data again, and again the task name can be anything. I name it just clothing, and the other parameters are empty except these 2 ones, instructions and response variable. Exactly as previous automation, I'm setting here an instructions to the AI which are slightly different. Here is an upcoming hourly weather forecast in JSON format, and I'm making this forecast list, this one, this variable from the previous action, and I set it to JSON format, and I'm sharing that with AI, and based on this data suggest appropriate clothing in a short funny message, provide only 1 suggestions and keep it under 20 words. I'm asking the AI to provide only 1 suggestions all the time because oftentimes the AI provides multiple answers, for example 3 answers having slightly different text, and I don't want that in such a case. I only want 1 answer because I want to say that on my media player, or I want to send that as a text to my phone or as persistent notification. It doesn't matter, but I want only 1 answer, and that's why I'm saying provide only 1 suggestion and keep it short. Of course, I can say here focus on humidity or focus on cloud level because the weather forecast contain these data. I'll show you that in the trace once I start this automation, and the result from these instructions are stored again in this response variable named AI response. The name of the variable can be anything. And one last action, create a persistent notification that will be shown here in the notification section, and as a message use AI response data, and if there is no data use this default text. Of course, this text can be sent to my mobile phone, to my media players and whatever I wish, but this is just a demo. Now I'm about to start this automation and I'll show you the trace because it is very interesting. So to start it, I have to press the button on my dashboard. I'll open my dashboard and I'll click on this Start Automation button. I'll go back. You can see that the automation is triggered. And now I should receive a notification. Here it is. Where as little as legally possible. That's funny. This is the automation in action. The text is very short, but let me show you what is happening in the background. I'm going to use the traces. So the first thing is perform weather get forecast action, which is having this result, hourly forecast, and look how much data we have here. Condition sunny, the date and time, wind bearing, cloud coverage, UV index, temperature, wind speed, and this is done for every hour for this day. And I'm getting all this data with all these values, and I'm sending this to the next step, which is creating this forecast list, and this forecast variable is sent to the AI task generate that data. So this is the data that I'm sending to the AI. Look how much data I'm sending to it, and the AI is processing all of that and it generates a short message, but this message can be detailed. I can easily set as instructions, send me the wind speed, the average wind speed, or the top wind speed, or whatever I wish. I can include in my notification because I'm having all the data and I'm sending all that data to the AI, and I can ask AI to do anything with that data. I'm asking currently to generate very short and funny message, but that is not the limit. I can do whatever I wish based only on this data, suggest appropriate clothing in short funny message, and this is what I got in this notification right here. But if I change the instructions to anything else, I will have that as well. And the last part is this persistent notification create. So let's start it again, but with different instructions to demonstrate you how easily you can change that. I'll remove this, keep it under 20 words, and I'll set focus on the UV index, for example, and give me more data there. If I'm interested in the UV index, I can have that. And if I execute this once again, the trigger is triggered and I'm having another notification, and this is another result. The UV index hits 8.7 around 10 AM. Don't forget to wear a hat and long sleeves and so on and so forth. So look how easy I can customize this to my preferences, and it is very powerful because I'm putting a lot of data that is useless. If I set all that data that I showed you in the traces to my phone, I will not read it, but now I will read it and I'll hear it if I play this over my media player, because it is very short and also funny. And if I send that to my media player, it will be not a pleasant experience. But with the AI and Home Assistant, I can convert that as you saw just now. So imagine this, all this data to your media player to be played every day at 8 AM. It will be terrible. But now with this simple but yet powerful automation, I will have notifications like that, and I'll start using them daily from now on because I like them a lot. This exact automation made me rethink the current AI in Home Assistant situation, and I no longer consider this as a toy, but as a real helpful tool that I'll start using daily from now on. What do you think here? Let me know in the comments below. And again, this automation YAML code can be found in the PDF. To get it, just type your name and email address. You'll receive an email from me to where you can confirm that you're not some kind of a robot, and the PDF will be yours to have. Inside the PDF, you will find step-by-step instructions on how you can enable Google AI in your Home Assistant, all automations YAML code from this video, plus few extra not shown here and very detailed explanations of scripts, templates and automations. You'll also be subscribed to my newsletter, where I'll share news and updates with you. It is a free service, and if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe at any time with just one click. The next automation was not made with just one click, but it is crazy useful as it can detect the number of persons from an image. This image can come from a security camera or by static image or by other automation or integration or whatever. And you can ask the AI to count the persons on it or maybe something else, as everything is possible. Let me show you this in action. The next automation that I want to show you is this one, count persons from a picture. It is currently disabled, but I'll enable it in a few seconds. I disable it because it is triggered every 5 minutes or every 10 seconds, depending on what I will enable. This is one of the ways to test an automation. Of course, the trigger can be anything. This is just a demo, and the most important thing and the most interesting things here are the actions, and I'm about to show them. Then I'll enable it and then we'll test it, but first let me explain this in details. So the first action is AI task generate data, and it is very similar with few exceptions, as you see. The task name, count person, this is a must-have, but the name can be anything. I named this the task count person because this is what the AI is actually doing. The instructions to the AI are very simple. Analyze the attached image and count the number of persons visible. Of course, you can change that to your preferences. You can count the hats, or I don't know, the glasses of the person, or anything. And the next things are interesting. Entity ID is empty because, as I told you in the beginning, I set a default AI task entity ID, and I don't have to set anything right here right now. And this is something new, structure output. We didn't have such thing in the previous demos. When set, the AI task will output field with this in structure. So this is the structure that I'm interested in, people and the number. And I also enable this attachments field, and I attached a static image, but this static image can come from security camera, or it can be stored somewhere on the Home Assistant file system, and you can check it regularly. So you can have an automation that uploads a static image somewhere on the file system, and this automation to check it every 5 minutes and to send you the results if there are any. And this is a real case scenario that can be quite useful. But for the demo, I'm attaching a static picture. This static picture is uploaded here in my media section. I'll open it in a new tab, my media, and here I uploaded where it is, manage, and I uploaded one file, actually two files, 7me and 1me. I'll demo the results later, and basically that's it. Analyze the attached image, count the people as number. This is the attachment that should be analyzed, and the response will be stored in this variable named AI response. This section is also new, but it is very easily. I'm using this person count helper. Let me show you settings. I created one helper. Input this one. Person count, I created this one. currently the value of this is 6. I'll set it to 0. So I created this using this create helper, input number. This is how I created it. You can name it whatever you wish. And I'm using this in my automation. So once I ask the AI to count the persons, I set the person count helper with the value that AI counts. So this is what this action is doing. Basically, it counts the people and then it updates this person count helper with the number that it calculates. So this is the action, and finally I'm creating, no, not here, and finally I'm creating this persistent notification, which is having this text. I just count data.people. This is also new. This is the variable, the response variable that is coming from AI data.people. And let me demonstrate you that. I'll disable this trigger and I'll enable this one because I want this automation to be executed every 10 seconds. I'll save the changes, and now in 10 seconds this is triggered, as you can see, and now I should get a notification here. Here it is. I just count 7 people on the picture and I updated the input number person count with this value. So let me show you the picture. I'll disable the automation because it is triggered again every 10 seconds. This is the trigger. Let me show you the actual picture. This is it. 4 plus 3, 7 people. And the AI count them correctly. If I change, let me go back to the automation, come on. If I change the attachment to OneMe, a different attachment, and if I save and if I enable this, the automation is triggered. I'm waiting for new notification here. Here it is. I just count 1 people on the picture. Okay, and that is the correct one. I'll disable it again because it is triggered all the time. Disable. Okay, this is disabled, and let me show you the OneMe JPEG. 1 person. The text here is not very correct English-wise, but the automation is 100% correct. And once again, this automation YAML code and more examples like how to make scripts and even template sensors that are using AI can be found in the PDF that go with this video. Get it from the link in the video description. I know that I told you that I've shared 3 automations in the beginning, but I want to share one extra one because it is super interesting. And let me quickly demonstrate you this one. It is called AI-driven lightning control. Let me show you. So the trigger here is when bedroom motion sensor changed from anything to detected. So when motion is detected in the bedroom, execute the following things. Look at that here. The task name, as always, the name can be anything, but it has to have a name, otherwise you have errors, so you have to type something here. The instructions are a bit interesting. Analyze the following home state. Current time, this will get the current time right now. Then it will get the state of the sensor bedroom illuminance. So it will get the state of these sensors, light sensor. Then it will get the state of yard illuminance. So this sensor will be also considered, the state of it. And what else? The cover bedroom. So it also counts, it also gets the state of these bedroom blinds. Are they closed? Are they open? And if they're open, how much they're open. So this is this information is stored here. So this is the state of the bedroom, is it open or closed, and this is the state, how much it is open, the current position, and suggest lighting based on all that data. So all these are current states of different sensors, all these things are gathered, and based on that data suggest a lighting settings for the living room, and should the lights be turned on with yes or no answer, and also recommend a brightness. Provide the response in the format lights on, yes or no, and brightness, and the brightness should be a number, some integer. And again we have a structured data. We have two structures here, lights on, which should be a text, and this text should be yes or no, and brightness, this is the other structured data that should contain a number, and this number should be used as a new brightness level setting. Store the result again in the AI response variable and move to the next action, which is test template. Basically, if the AI response data lights on, this one, contains yes, execute the next action, which is turn on the bedroom light and set the brightness to the digit that is coming from the AI, this one. Very clever, very useful automation. So let me quickly demonstrate you that. Currently the bedroom light is off, my blinds are half open, and this illuminance is 60 lux, this yard or outdoor illuminance is 120. So again, I'll simulate motion in my bedroom to start the automation, and based on the current state of the bedroom lights, the bedroom illuminance and the yard illuminance, and the current time, the AI will suggest if the bedroom light should be turned on, and if yes, to what brightness. So let's test this. I'll go to states and I'll search here for motion. Bedroom motion is currently off. I'll set it to on, and the automation should be triggered, yes. And let's see what will happen. The bedroom light is now turned on at 60%. Based on all these criteria. Let me show you the traces to demonstrate you better what is happening. So analyze the following home state. Time is 8:43, bedroom light level is 60 lux, outdoor light level is 120 lux. This is real data coming from my home sensor. Bedroom lights are open, the current position is 45%, and based on this data, analyze it and suggest lighting setting where should the lights turn on should be yes or no, and the brightness should be an integer. And if I click here, I will see what AI suggests. The lights on should be yes, and the brightness should be 60, and based on that suggestions, I'm basically turning on the light with these values, 60% brightness. And here this template is looking for yes. If it is no, it will not execute this last action and the lights will not be turned on. So very useful automation, very powerful. I'm getting the data from current sensors in my home, and based on that data I'm turning on or off my lights, and I'm setting the brightness based on the current situation outdoors and indoors, and that can be quite powerful. Now let me know which automation you like the best, and if you wish more AI and Home Assistant videos from me, click here. Thanks for AIing with me, And Home Assistant, I'm Kirill and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!